Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I would like to call this meeting to order. This is the meeting of the Bamberg School District 1 Board of Trustees meeting. Today's date is July 19, 2021. Board members, we are down to item number 2, which is approval of the agenda. You've all had the opportunity to receive and review the agenda. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair, I make an approval of the agenda as if there is no changes to it. No approval of the agenda.
All right, we have a motion on the floor that we approve the agenda if there are no changes. Is there a second? Second. We have a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, if you're in favor of approval of the agenda, please signal by saying aye. Aye. Is there any opposition? Hearing none, the ayes have it. The motion passes. We are down to item number 3, which is approval of the minutes for the June 28, 2021 meeting. You've also had the opportunity to receive and review those meeting minutes. What is the pleasure of the board with regards to approval of the minutes for June 28, 2021?
Madam Chair, I move that the minutes be received as presented.
All right, we have a motion on the floor that the minutes be received as they've been printed. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, if you're in favor of approval of the minutes, please signal by saying aye. Aye. Is there any opposition? Hearing none, the ayes have it. The motion passes. And before we move into number 4, which is the school reports, I would like to ask Mrs. Brown if she could give us an introduction of the new staff.
Certainly. As you know, we began as of July 1 sharing more administrative services with Bamberg School District 2. And also late this past spring, we secured a new principal for Richard Carroll Elementary with the retirement of Miss Stacy Walter. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Miss Edward Breeling, who is our new administrative assistant, replacing Miss Stokes who retired. So welcome, Miss Breeling. I'd also like to introduce Dr. Deani Simmons, new shared deputy superintendent for Bamberg 1 and Bamberg 2, joining me here tonight to help conduct their meeting. And also Dr. Chastity Evans, our new elementary school principal at Richard Carroll. So welcome aboard.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll give them a welcome board. And before we do move on to number 4, I would just like to acknowledge Bamberg School District 2 Board Chair, Beverly Bonaparte. Board members, you've had an opportunity to meet her, and you've probably known her, and some of you may have even grown up with her. So I would just like to acknowledge that. And we are down to item number 4, which is school reports. And up first is Chastity Evans for Richard Carroll Elementary School.
Good evening. First of all, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to serve Bamberg County students and community. It is an honor to be here and be a part of this awesome organization. So this last week, or for the last few weeks, we've had summer camp going on at Richard Carroll, and we have had 59 students participate in that program. 13 5K students, 17 first graders, 14 second graders, and 15 third graders. And this was a full day camp, all day, from 8 till 3 o'clock every day. And I was so impressed last week. It was my first full week there, and the kids were absolutely engaged from the moment they got there till the moment they left. They were reading, doing all kinds of activities with reading and writing. They read to me, they read to each other. It was a phenomenal week. And so of these students, we only had 6 that had not met one on SC Ready. And of those 6, all of them made gains. One of them is still planning to repeat next year, but the other 5 will go on to 4th grade. And so that was good. All the students, all 59 students, at least or made progress or at least maintained throughout the program. We did have our State Department visit. I think that happened the week before I came. With regard to Read to Succeed, this is a mandatory site visit. She spent most of her time in the 3rd grade classrooms. She was very impressed, apparently went on and on about all the great things we had going on, to the point that she did not even return the 2nd day. She was so pleased with what we had going on. So, and then finally, I had Math Summer Camp going on. I was not there for Math Summer Camp, but I have heard that they had a lot of good stuff happening. They used a math center approach where they completed microengineering STEM projects and constructed a zoo animal habitat. And so of these students, 32 that participated, 19 of them made gains above their spring map scores, 3 maintained the same, and 10 fell slightly below their map scores. And because I wasn't there, I'm not exactly sure yet, what the reasoning was that they think that those students fell slightly, but I'm going to work on that whenever we get back in the building, and I'll hopefully be able to give you a little bit more information. And that's all I have. Do you have any questions?
No questions?
Welcome to Bamberg.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And thank you so much, Ms. Evans. Next up, we have Denise Miller of Bamberg Earhart Middle School.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am renewed and ready to start a new school year. So it's basically the same. Our enrollment right now is at 197. We are receiving requests for transfers, requests for withdrawals. So I'm sure that we will see that number fluctuate when I come back to you in August. We have had no confirmed COVID cases since the last time we met. Our summer academic recovery program is finished. It finished at the end of June. All of our students demonstrated 15 skills in ELA and 15 skills in math, and I'm proud of them, and they are moving forward to the next grade level. Right now we have our summer bridge program. It started last week, so our 6th grade Richard Carroll Elementary School students are being orientated to Bamberg Earhart Middle School, and they are learning technology, learning the Google Classroom, doing some STEM projects, and they will be working with the nursing home next week for a community service project.
That's it, Ms. Miller.
That's it.
All right. Well,
I have a quick question. The bridge program, that's a new program at the middle school, right? I know we've had orientations before and even maybe week-long orientations at some of the school, but is this slightly different from what we've?
No, sir, this is our
Or
second
second year?
opportunity.
Okay.
We planned it for last year and was canceled
Okay.
due to COVID,
Okay,
and then we did it the year before.
okay.
Yes, sir.
any other questions? Thank you so much, Ms. Miller. Next up, we have Mr. Denny Ulmer of Bamberg Earhart High School.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
In your package, you see that don't have a whole lot going on at the high school at this point, other than we're tearing floors down and re-waxing. You've got some information about our credit recovery program that was offered this summer. It was offered from June the 14th until July the 1st. We invited 52 people to participate in that program. We ended up with 31 kids actually completing it. 37 actually enrolled in it, and 31 completed it. We only invited kids who had 51s or higher averages, and we only invited kids who weren't chronic or habitually truant to that program. And as you can see, we offered English 1, 2, and 3, U.S. history and world history, Foundations Intermediate, Algebra 1, Geometry, Physical Science, and Biology. And those 31 kids all received credit for those classes when they were complete. There's a breakdown here of average growth from teacher assessments, both pre-test and post-test. We had really good growth during this program. It was a great program. I'm glad we were able to offer it this summer. Mr. Hires, you asked about the summer bridge program. We've been having the summer bridge program at the high school for the last 5 years or so, but we were unable to have it this year because of the summer program and being able to get in our classrooms and getting our floors redone.
Did y'all call it bridge in the past?
Yeah, it was a summer bridge program. We invited our rise and ninth graders up.
Right.
And we stopped having our freshman orientation program that we used to have at night. This year we're going to offer it again at night so we can get our freshmen and their parents back in our doors so we can at least talk to them about what we expect the following week. So that's actually scheduled for August the 12th from 5 until 7 o'clock that night. So Mr. Williams also asked me to do the athletic report. Does anybody have any questions about our summer program or about anything going on at high school? Yes, ma'am.
I do. So with the students that were eligible and offered the invitation, the ones that did not complete or show, what happens with
They'll have to retake courses next semester.
Okay.
They will not get credit for those classes. That was an opportunity for them to come in and catch up.
Okay. All right.
Sort of like credit recovery a little bit.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
Okay. All right, the July athletic report. I would like to also thank our coaches and athletes for a successful 2020-21 school year. We finished second in the Class A in what we call the Carlisle Cup. It's kind of an overall type deal with athletics. Region winners, state championship participants, all that kind of good stuff gets figured in there. We finished second, and we finished second to Southside Christian, which, as we all know, is a private school, and we're not on the same playing field when it comes to them because they're able to do things that we can't. So, summer workouts and conditioning are going on for the upcoming seasons. We have about 100 kids a day in our weight room getting ready for fall sports. You also have a copy of schedules for the fall seasons. Those are as up to date as we have at this time. So, if you have any questions about those, you can see me or Mr. Robert Williams, who knows more about the schedule than I do. Does anybody have any questions about the athletics?
No questions?
Yes, we got a reference open.
I don't know.
But I heard that we had.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
I'm sorry.
that.
You know anything about a wrestling coach?
Yes, we are having a wrestling program.
We are having a program, but do we have a
Yes,
coach at this time?
We do. Coach Williams has identified a coach, Coach
I heard they had
Haynes.
a coach.
And I think with the assistance of Coach Marcus Can and also with the assistance of Jeremy Davis.
Okay. Pardon me, I was out last week on vacation, so I was not aware. All right. Thank y'all. Thank you.
All right, that takes care of item number 5, which was the athletic updates, and we are now down to item number 6, which is the student staff recognition and superintendent's report. And I will turn it over to Ms. Dottie Brown.
Okay. Good evening again, everybody. I did place something on your table earlier. It says the Bamberg 2 District Special Education Profile. Those were released publicly late last Thursday evening, Friday morning. You can just add that to the back of my report. I'll get to that in just a second. One thing I do want to bring to your attention is on your table, you have a little gift from the Richard Carroll Elementary School Summer Camp Reading students. It is a little bowl that they made in their arts class. That they have a pottery class that goes on that is part of our arts integration grant that Ms. Kelly Sanders writes into the summer camp funding budget, and it pays for a teacher to come and integrate arts. They get a little break from the academics during the day because, as Dr. Evans says, it's a full day, so we try to integrate related arts into their activities as well. And I would like to say too that Ms. Laura Buss helps us with that and works with the kids on making various things in the pottery class and in the arts class. So just a little gift from the students to thank you, each one of you, for all that you do for the students in Richard Carroll and for the district.
Very nice, thank you.
Yes, they are.
All right. So digging into my superintendent's report, you have in your packets a memorandum from South Carolina School Boards Association. Actually, you don't have this. This is special recognition for a certain staff member. And that staff member happens to be Miss Naomi Eccles. So at this time, I'd like to present Miss Naomi Eccles with her certificate. Miss Naomi Eccles has completed the training required for level 1 to be a member of the school board. So congratulations to you, Miss Eccles. Alright, now that that's out of the way, now what you have a copy of is Proviso 1.104. Actually, you have a stack of memos from the South Carolina State Department of Education, and either in front of your paperclip or in the back, you'll see this. This is a summary of all of those memos, so I'll just briefly go through this. You see that? There you go. All right, the first thing I want to talk about is Proviso 1.104 Part A, the consolidation funding. Attached to this packet is also an email that came to Devon and myself from Ms. Betsy Carpenter late last week. It was after your board packets were right as we were putting your board packets together, so we included this in there. South Carolina State Department of Education has also identified additional funding for districts that are consolidating, and it was on her encouragement through this memo, which we gave you a copy, that she encouraged our Bamberg District 1 and Bamberg District 2 to apply for this additional funding because we are one of the 12 or 15 consolidating districts. So just wanted to make you aware of that. CDC guidance is forthcoming to schools for reopening this year. We are awaiting that as we speak. That will come through DHEC. Remember last year when we opened, we were still in the grips of a pandemic and we had stringent rules on masks and social distancing. This year, some of those rules have been relaxed, but we are still awaiting the final DHEC guidance for schools reopening this year. When we get that, if it's prior to our next board meeting, I'll make sure that each one of you get a copy, and if it's near our board meeting, I'll be sure to bring that at our next board meeting. Also want to talk about hotspots for next year. If you recall one of our board meetings last year, the State Department last year funded districts' funds to supply families with those, and we knew that that was coming to an end with the end of last school year. This year they have agreed, they were extended until August 1st, 2021, but beginning this year in August, schools had to decide whether or not we will fund that for parents and use our ESSER funds, which this district, Bamberg School District 1 and Bamberg School District 2 has agreed to do. So we will be writing that into our ESSER grants to continue to fund those hotspots because that is such a need for the families in our communities. And we did have a large number, Mr. Paget is here, we had a large number of families that took advantage of those hotspots last year, and their students wouldn't have been able to participate in their education had we not provided those. All right, also Proviso 1.108. This is one of the main ones I want to bring your attention to. Attached to this packet is also the actual memo from Molly Spearman. This proviso has passed. Remember last year again, we were open, we were in the grips of the pandemic. We required students to wear masks in the building and on the grounds and on the bus. This year the new proviso is we cannot mandate that. So 360. We can encourage it, but districts cannot mandate that this year on buses or in the buildings. And keep in mind, these are memos that came out this week. Next week, we're liable to get new ones. So whatever the most up-to-date guidance that comes to us with is how we will operate our schools.
Mr. Brown, I have a quick question on that first memorandum memo on 1.104. The very next to the last paragraph talks about additional funding of $85 million under Proviso B regarding capital improvements for disadvantaged school districts. Will be forthcoming from my office. Are we considered a disadvantaged school district?
We certainly are.
I mean, due to our poverty level?
Yes.
Is that what constitutes that? Okay.
Devon can probably answer more questions on that. She's our funding guru, but we certainly are considered in a rural and impoverished area geographically. Any other questions about that particular set of memos?
I just had a quick question about on the list it has like us listed as third or fourth as I guess priority. Is that how that works? Is it we're high up on the priority list for where funding goes?
Yes, and like I said, Ms. Spark can chime in, but from as I understand it, districts that are well into the process, districts that are cooperating and meandering through, progressing through the consolidation process, plus those of us that are further along in the process are being given priority in this additional funding. And whoever gets their applications in there first. So we were working on that Thursday and Friday.
And it's also, some of these districts have not agreed to consolidate yet. So they get first priority in this money. So like Bamberg 1 and 2 are already in the process. We already done our plan, we've done all that. We could apply for additional funding, which we did. But like let's say Dillon 3 and 4 decide they're gonna consolidate. They would be first to get the money because we already have part of our money. So that's how that works.
But we did get our names in the pot for the additional funding. Okay. In your packets also, would like to congratulate Coach Williams and our athletic department and our district. We're one of the few and first districts in the United States to get a federal patent on our BE Diamond. So I remember back a few months ago, this started as early as beginning of last school year, working with Mr. Boykin in Davis's office. We got our state patent mid-year. We finally got our federal patent. So congratulations to the BE Red Raiders. This is how it looks, and we are in the process of getting our patent certificates framed. So very nice.
Thank you.
The district now can enforce infringement on our logos for sale or profit across the United States and in any U.S. territories. Right. You have in your packet also, tonight we need to have the second reading of policy GCC-GCD presented last month. These were the policies about annual leave for staff. We had the first reading last month, and tonight I'd like to ask the board for the second reading.
Before we do that, are you referring to item number 9A on the agenda?
Yes, and update on COVID. Sorry, I did skip two things.
Yeah, let's backtrack.
Yes, I am now at item 6E.
6E?
Yes, ma'am.
E.
The update on
Okay.
COVID.
Yes, ma'am.
We have no confirmed COVID cases right now among students or staff.
Okay.
And item number 7 and 8, consolidation and shared services update. I touched on that briefly. We, as you know, as of July 1, we began shared services with superintendent and assistant superintendent. We are continuing to share services with our finance director, technology director, food services director. We are integrating services at our district office staff and still searching for resolutions to the centralized location for our district office. We started moving people around last week, actually the last 2 weeks. So more information about that will be forthcoming as we work with Bamberg School District 2 and continue to work with you guys on a centralized location for all of our district office staff. And that's
So before we move on to 9A, that was handed to us.
yes.
You want to talk to us about that?
On your table, there is a document that I put on your desk that was released publicly late last Thursday afternoon and Friday. As you know, we get school report cards for all schools and the district. We also get a special education school report card. This is our school report card. The special education school report cards, unlike your general education school report cards, runs a year behind those. So this is for school year 1920. And basically, in a nutshell, what you want are green cells. Green means good to go. And as you can see, we only have a couple areas. Up top are your performance indicators. Those are all the indicators controlled by district staff. We scored 100% perfect score in every one of those. Down at the bottom are your indicators that are controlled by student achievement. These are how students perform on tests. This is your graduation rate, your dropout rate, and how they perform on the career assessment. We still have one area that we are working on, and that's math under South Carolina Ready, which I'm proud to say is the same profile as our general ed students, so no outlier there for students with disabilities. That's a focus area we're focusing on across the board. And then our career assessment, that was previously called the WIN, now it's the ACT career assessment. We scored low on that because we have a very low population. And when you have 4 students with disabilities take that test, and only 1 scores the bronze or above, then you have a low number there. But what counts is that we scored over 30 and we got to meet requirements, and I'm very proud of that and proud of the work for the special education department, our finance director with our finance reporting, our budgets, and Ms. Tucker for our timely and accurate data reporting. So
Great.
Wanted to share that with you all because it went public as of Friday.
Great.
So we have no remediation plans or corrective actions to do.
Beautiful. Does anyone have any questions with regards to this report? No? All right, so we are now officially down to item number 9, and you've had the opportunity to, this is what you're talking about, the staff leave and
Yes.
absences. Okay, so.
Sorry, and thank
Go
you.
ahead. That's okay. Did you have anything else further you want to say on it, other than that?
I do not.
Well, board members, you've had an opportunity to receive and review it. You know that this is the second reading of it, so you've seen it before. What's the pleasure of the board with regards to this particular policy?
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the second reading of policy GCC / GCD.
We have a motion on the floor that we approve the policy. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, if you're in favor of approving the second reading of this policy, please signal by saying aye. Aye. Is there any opposition? Hearing none, the ayes have it, the motion passes. And we are now down to item number 10, which is visitors' comments, and I believe we have Mr. Ken Holland with us, who is signed up on the sign-in sheet. Mr. Ken, welcome back.
Well, it's good to be back, I think. Well, it's been just a little while since I talked to you guys. A lot has changed since I attended last time. Got busy with kids. But concerning your school board, your policy says you're supposed to be involved in community affairs, community involvement, and I just want to give some feedback with respect to the consolidation. It's been a couple years in the making with not one public hearing. So I'm going to have to give you guys an F-. And it's not just you. So I'm spreading the wealth. I most certainly was in touch with Justin Bamberg's office and Senator Hutto's office and emailed them, but there's still a lot that goes without, that's still not known, whether it be the absorbing of the bond debt and everything else, and we're no further along from a public standpoint and having some question and answer, so I guess I think we could do a better job. The only other comment I would have is, and this is just feedback, I don't need really answers, just want to get some things off my chest. But you got the State Department of Education and Molly Spearman's office that is moving money around and enticing districts and doing this. This is like a mob. This is a shakedown when it comes to divvying out money. We always hear, hey, it's all about the kids. It's not about the kids. If you're withholding money and trying to strong arm districts into doing that, so sometimes it's unpopular, but it just needs to be said. I just wish they looked after every kid, and if they were going to give money out, it just goes out instead of playing the extortion game. So I just wanted to say that since it's been a while, and I know we're in the middle of the consolidation, and just give you some feedback. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have item number 11, which is executive session. What is the pleasure of the board with regards to executive session?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss A, B, and C. Personal recommendation for resignations, personal recommendation for hire, and student transfer request.
All right, we have a motion on the floor that we go into executive session. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, if you're in favor into moving into executive session, please signal by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, the ayes have it. We will now move into executive session to discuss A, personnel recommendations for resignations, B, personnel recommendations for hire, and C, student transfer requests. We are in executive session. Please signal by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, we are out of executive session as that motion has passed. We are now down to item number 12, which is action on executive session items if needed. What's the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve personnel recommendation for resignation for employee 1, that we approve the personnel recommendation for hires for employee 1 and 2, and that we approve the student transfer request for student number 3, and that we approve the student transfer request for students 1 and 2 pending release from District 2.
All right, we have the motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion on the floor and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. If you're in favor of this, please signal by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, the ayes have it. The motion passes. We are now down to item number 13, which is adjournment of the meeting. What's the pleasure of the board with regards to adjourning this meeting?
The motion has been carried, adjourned.
We have a second? Motion on the floor and a second. You all want to discuss it? All right. If you're in favor of adjourning the meeting, signal by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, the ayes have it. This meeting is adjourned.